Good afternoon, my friends, and welcome to today's edition of NWCR's Removing the Liberal Blindfold for this Tuesday, the first day of December in the year of our Lord 2020. Today's update has what the University of California calls toxic masculinity. Folks, this is nothing more than a statement that is pushed all over the place today and is nothing but offensive. From PJ Media comes this one. California. ISIS jihadi stabs 4 in university classroom. University blames toxic masculinity. The FBI last Wednesday released new details about the case of Faisal Muhammad, who in November 2015, while he was a freshman at the University of California, Merced, entered a classroom and stabbed 4 people. We all remember this. It was already known back at the time of the attack that young Muhammad was a jihadi. The College Fix reported that he was found to have an image of the ISIS flag, a handwritten manifesto with instructions on how to behead someone and reminders to pray to Allah. The new information that has just been released about the case only confirms this and shows up the abject idiocy of the university's utterly predictable reaction to the attack. Muhammad, according to the Associated Press, planned to praise Allah while slitting the throats of classmates and use a gun taken from an ambushed officer to kill more. Then he planned to call 911 to report the killings, read the Quran until he heard the sirens, and then take calm shot after shot with the gun when the police arrived. He mapped out a detail for his jihad. It included putting on a balaclava at 7:45 a.m. and saying, "In the name of Allah," before stepping into his classroom and ordering students to use zip ties he provided to bind their hands. Muhammad also planned to make a fake 911 distress call to report a suicidal guy, SIC, this is how they write it at AP these days, and wait for the police outside the classroom before ambushing from behind and slit calmly yet forcefully one of the officers with the guns, presumably in the officer's throat in accordance to the Quran's directive, when you meet the unbelievers, strike the necks, 47:4. All this stands in stark contrast to how the attack was initially reported, and even more to the reaction to it at the University of California, Merced. Muhammad's attack, as the College Fix noted back in November of 2015, was widely characterized as revenge for being kicked out of a study group. Even worse, instead of waking up to the reality of Islamic Jihad, many of the University of California Merced mourned for the attacker with a Facebook RIP tribute to Faisal Muhammad, gaining massive support among the campus community. Not even that was enough for the relentlessly woke UC Merced facility, who hosted a teach-in that about 200 students attended, entitled, "Don't Turn Our Tragedy into Hate." It didn't mention Islam or jihad at all, except in the context of discussion about how Muslims are victims of Islamophobia. Of course, according to one student who attended the teach-in, Islamophobia was cited as the reason people want to call it a terrorist attack. People were quick to sympathize with the attacker and assume anyone who thought that was related to radical Islam was a xenophobic racist. Among the topics discussed were, what does mental health have to do with this? How do we define our community? What lives are grievable? And what do race and religion have to do with this? Standing out in this super fashionable leftist shibboleths was this: why are men more likely to be perpetrators of violence? One speaker suggested that the attack was all about men not being able to be weak, self-centered, weepy narcissists. quote, anger. That is what we really think about when we think about emotional men. They are subject to social sanctions if they deviate from masculinity. If you are perceived as failing at it, you are perceived as being a fag, a pussy, a wimp, pretty much what women are, right? So when you have this limited ability to sort of express your emotions and possible feelings of emasculation, of lowest self-esteem, how do you really deal with that? A lot of times they engage in violence. They need to compensate for their loss of masculinity in the most manly way they have access to, and unfortunately, a lot of times that's violence. And now to remove the liberal blindfold here, folks, to the left, if any time a man kills someone, it is nothing but toxic masculinity. It doesn't matter if the person is screaming out Allahu Akbar while stabbing people, or if they are killing because they like killing. It is always the same to the leftists in this nation. We have men in this nation, and because of that, we have to realize that the only thing that will ever fix the problems of this world is not getting rid of terrorists and criminals. It is getting rid of men. Period. That is just like me saying that going into a bank with a gun is right. We all know it isn't, but with the left, they think that doing things that are against the natural law is okay anymore. Yesterday I asked the question, if the left would really want to win by cheating and not doing it the right way, of course they would want that. They are not like you and me. They do not live by the laws and the laws of nature and our God. They live by their own laws. Why else do you think they've been trying to change the laws of morals and the laws of family for so long? The left is the immorality of the nation, and the problem comes in the fact that we keep electing them to office. But this time they screwed up a whole bunch by claiming a victory that the majority of us know cannot be true, even by a little bit. It's all over the left. Think about it, folks. Biden rallies before the election couldn't net over 100 people, but Trump rallies netted people in the thousands. Since the election, Trump has done rallies, and again, thousands at them. Biden hurt his foot playing with his dog. There is so much out here now on the voter fraud that has happened, and if everyone really wanted the truth about what happened, investigations would be going nonstop for all of it, and everyone would want the truth, and we'd get the truth. The media and the left do not care about the truth. All they want is their words to be believed, even though they start out with lies. Investigations into fraud is not something the American people want, according to the left. But investigations into voter fraud is something the American people do want, and we want it now, because Trump won this election, and he is right when he proclaims that he did. That is another reason I always end my updates and my shows with what a friend of mine used to always say: we will not be ruled. Just as I've been saying, my friends, the enemy of this nation has been the demoral rat party and the lying media, for God does not condone this lying and cheating, and the Democrats have shown us all that they care nothing for the truth. This is Robert the Infidel for today's NWCR's Removing the Liberal Blindfold from Behind the Silver Microphone of Freedom, with the voice of reason in this increasingly unreasonable world, brought to you through Conservative Nation Media, where we fight to make sure that America always wins. Have a blessed day. God bless you all, and I'll see you tomorrow.